For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put that work in. Hamashiach give us that order, prepare to slaughter. For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put this work in. Hamashiach give us that order.
Tom, well, we're here to teach the so-called. We're out here to teach the truth of the Bible, right? A lot of lies, a lot of misconception, a lot of gross misinterpretation. So we're out here to establish and stand on the basis of truth. So that's what our mission and whole sole purpose is by being out here on the street, fishing, right? Being both a fisherman, as well as a watchman, as well as a husbandman. Because one that performs the duty of husbandry is a sower that sows seeds. So even if someone walks by and gets a small dose of truth, right, and some accuracy on the book that they say they believe in and dedicate their lives to, or surrender their lives to, that they're then maybe later on down the line, that seed that was planted can grow and blossom into more truth and more accuracy. And we feel like at that point, the world will be made a better place.
Amen.
Right? Like,
Truth is the first thing to die.
if I was to ask you, what's your personal worldview? What's your ideological, theological worldview and perspective on our existence?
I was talking to the gentleman, I think you hit it home. There's a lot of false narratives, poor academic teachings, reverse history, concepts, perceptions, and people run with it, don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
People need to be more educated across all perspectives, all religions, races, more support, more unification, coming together. Everything you said needs to be spoken in truth, because truth is the first thing to die. In this country, we have a lot of cattle on both sides, in all religions, and people follow blindly, and they ignore the truth. And
Correct.
It creates division, toxicity, and that's also by design. You know, shadow groups, organizations.
Would you say that your worldview is that you would want everybody to collectively come together?
Hypothetically, we all love for that, but realistically, it's never going to happen. There's always going to be a yin and a yang. There's always going to be challenges, and there's always going to be people you can never reach, no matter how true and right you are. And that needs to be taken into account.
I agree with you, right? If I was to ask you, because you said there's always going to be a yin and a yang, right? Good and evil, right? Truth and lies. Who do you feel like is winning right now, the yin or the yang, right? The good or the evil?
The evil.
The evil is winning. What would you say if, within your life experience, from what you've gathered, by what you've observed, what do you feel like best case scenario would be the catalyst to bringing or turning the tide, right? To where good is now winning and prevailing over evil, because I agree with you. Evil is definitely prevailing. So how will we turn the table?
From a branding, marketing perspective, this, but live feed, that put on YouTube and every other social media platform there is, from TikTok to Twitch to Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn, you name it. I mean, you have to use a digital frontier. It's an interconnected web, and it has to be a global outreach. You know, it's not throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. It's not targeting either. It's prospecting and hoping that your message is something that can be heard. Because a lot of people shut down because the way people talk to them, they can't handle the intensity of the truth.
Didn't I just tell you that?
It's about the delivery. You're not going to get everyone.
Right.
You know, and I'm white, so I can speak for my race and saying, you're right.
What type of white? What region?
I'm a Spaniard, Russian, third generation American.
Okay.
From the East Coast.
Okay. And how do you feel about the rape, rob, murder, and atrocity that's been done to blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians in this place of America?
There's false propaganda that the cops are not the problem, and that is by design. The cops are a problem. You have cowboys everywhere. For example, there's the frontline exam and there's the pellet B. it's not a standard coast to coast in all departments and all divisions. We don't have a uniform code of conduct. So you get a lot of people with the wrong temperament, the wrong personality. They've lost sight of their job and their purpose. It's not protect and serve and punish, it's protect and serve. That's why we have jury system. That's why you have a legal system. You know, and the oppression is real. It's happening, and it's not getting
but do you feel like cops really aren't doing their jobs to protect and to serve? I would say that they are, because from the inception of the American police officer or law enforcement, they've remained pretty consistent to what it is that they were protecting and who they were serving.
I don't know the percentages of quality within the law enforcement, but we know between all the social media and all the stories that we hear, because there's more cameras in people's faces, a lot of this stuff is just fucking gross.
So that's what I'm saying. So, but if they're the ones that are the enforcers, right? They're the ones supposed to be enforcing the law, and this is the way that are currently going about it. This is the way that they have, like I said, always went about it. What is the resolve? How do we fix it? Now, you mentioned something to broadcast. This has been broadcast for the last 50 years, maybe even more. There are a lot more people gaining the understanding and introducing themselves into the realm of truth. Absolutely. But to no avail, we're still dealing with these same things because people know better. They just don't want to do better. And then even those that get to the point to realize, you know what, I know better and I do have the spirit and temperament to do better, I'm realizing I'm still met with a glass ceiling because I can only go so far without seeming like a terrorist or a tyrant at that point.
Do you mean glass ceiling culturally?
I'm saying glass ceiling culturally, socially, economically, and even in the strata of things. Because as being I don't want to use the word victim, but the recipient, as being the recipient of the oppression, of the mistreatment, of the not upholding, protect, and serve, what am I able to do other than go into the street and march? Do you believe in the democracy of this place? Yeah? We don't. Because as much buying power as so-called African Americans have, combined with the buying power of Hispanic and Native Indians, I mean, it will be clear where the level of influence that we should have and how we should profit from it and how we should be able to move certain pieces on the table that we still haven't been able to do. Because the world, by our observation, is ran and respected by violence. That's why we have to have law enforcement.
Democracy and the illusion of democracy, or the democracy that they're pushing on us, are three very different things.
Can you explain, if you could briefly just summarize, what are the differences of the three?
Democracy in itself is about the people and everyone having a voice and everyone being able to provide for themselves and have the life that they want, the choices and the opportunities, across the board. But what we're getting is something that's more controlled. There's poison pills, propaganda, money, influence, and that creates a tremendous amount of problems. And again, I support everyone. For example, 90s hip-hop, early 2000s, some of the best. But still to this day, hip-hop artists are killing themselves in the street. That's not a good message. Straight up, you want to be real. I mean, everyone's got to look inward at their own culture and fix their own problems if they want other people to respect where they're going and what they want. But if, Nipsey Hussle's getting clipped in the street and he's, one of you guys out there for the community trying to help people, that doesn't send a good message to people that don't understand. That's just one example of 1,000.
But in the example that you gave, I mean, the situation that happened with Nipsey Hussle, that's an in-house issue within our own community. I wouldn't say that that's a...
Rappers is not in-house. It's begotten, the numbers are so high at this point.
No. The Nipsey Hussle situation wasn't a rapper killing a rapper.
You know what I'm saying? You're arguing semantics.
No, it's not arguing semantics. I'm trying to get an understanding. I'm not even arguing with you. I'm trying to establish a premise for us to move forward where, again, you bring up a situation with Nipsey Hussle and the issues that we have in our community. You're saying that's not an in-house thing, that somebody outside of the black community or the inner city South Central community influenced Eric Holder to do something against Nipsey Hussle in some sort of conspiracy?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking.
It's possible.
It's possible?
Just like 9/11 conspiracy. I'm not one of those conspiracists, but there are question marks in a lot of the things that we're told. I care more about what we don't know than what we do know.
Right, right. Our known unknowns, right? Or even our unknown unknowns, going and figure out the things that we actually don't have an understanding of. Totally understand that. So with that, what do we do?
You're better than me, man. This is your guys'.
No. But you being in this world with us, right? We appreciate you stopping to talk to us, but being in the world with us, how do we?
That question requires more depth and thought than an impulsive response on my part, and I'm happy to pass that along electronically after I think about it. But on the street, giving you something like that, I'd probably fall short where I can be better.
I think that that's fair, right? Are you aware of where that marker is of where you do fall short?
In regards to society, how we can do better?
Yeah, in regards to where you said on the street corner, trying to just give an impulsive answer, I might fall short. Do you know where that would be?
I don't have all the information, everything that goes on, every situation. I don't know all the corners. I need to see things from the inside out, not from the outside in.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I understand what you mean, that it's necessary. I believe that were you born and raised, you said third generation American, so you're born in America, right? I think we've had a clear perspective of what it's like from the inside looking in. We're around here, we clearly see. I think we need to take ourselves out of it, right? The difference between perception and perspective. Our perception is based off of how we interpret the world around us. Me and you born in America, but I'm sure we interpret things a lot differently, although we have similarities, right? But I'm sure we interpret it differently. But then introducing ourselves into the world of perspective, we got to take ourselves out of it, take a step back and be on the outside looking in to say, what would I do? Or what would be the best possible scenario? And at that point, we got to be honest with ourselves as well, right? There's got to be, if we're standing on the realm of truth here in terms of fact of information, we also have to stand on the realm of truth of the reality of the situation and the only thing that's possible. So when we want to talk about a better America, a better tomorrow for me and you and kids and the next generation, how does this place, and we're just going to focus on black and white because that is what this place has been built on. Starting the foundation of it is black people and white people. How do they figure out and get to a better place and establish a level of equality? There has been so much mistreatment, and with the mistreatment that has been, they've been taken advantage of. A lot of money has been generated on the backs of blacks. Like you said, rappers having to bend over backwards just to make a living, and they're incentivized to go and kill another. That's why I understand what you're saying. And I get you bring up something like Nipsey Hussle because we all can probably relate to it. I just feel like that particular situation was different. But in Chicago, or what is it, Young Dolph, FGB Duck, yada, yada, yada. All of these people, yeah, are casualties of the entertainment industry, incentivizing them to go and promote this type of culture, and then they get caught up into it and they lose their life from it. All the while, the same white people that have established from the grassroots of this place is still making money, hand over fist. And then when this type of stuff is broadcasted, where we speak on it and talk about the truth of it, we're labeled so many things, and then there's a negative stigma put on it. With all that being said, I don't think you'll disagree with that part, but how can we possibly get even trying to work side by side with people, with the people that are doing this?
Everything you said is spot on, and I agree. It's not black and white. There's a major gray area, and it's not to dilute anything you said, but there are millions of very successful black people, male and female, in this country, super wealthy. At the same time, as much as you mentioned artists and rappers, there are millions of struggling artists that aren't black that are having the same problems. For example, the entertainment industry has been going through crazy layoffs. Everybody's in the same boat. You know how many writers are of all different races and cultures? They're not getting anything through the doors. They're getting rejected all day long. So there's a gray area to all this. Now, how to get it balanced, how to make it more equal, I don't know if America wants that. I'm not running America.
Hold on. So, and I agree with everything you said. What I disagree with is the premise that you build on. Yes, plenty of successful African Americans, both in the rap industry and just in any other industry, right? Science, math, engineering, the whole nine. It's black people successful everywhere. But why do we use that? Finding success in that realm according to that measure instead, why do we say that that's the foundation? that if black people can be successful under these conditions, then the possibility is now greater, or now, you know, should be pursued, this whole American dream. I don't agree with the entire foundation of this place. See what I'm saying? Because what? It's still being established and being moved according to the standard of people who should not be here in the first place.
That's right.
We got to go back to the root of it. We have to address the source of the cancer, not just all of to where it has spread.
You mean treatment towards
The treatment towards the imbalance and the hypocrisy of this place, and the lies and delusion, right?
towards everyone, or one?
Towards the system, right? Starting with the system, and then by extension of addressing the system, you address the people who established the system, the people who benefit from the system. And again, it's not a situation where you're saying, oh, well, the twos and fews of blacks that find success within the system, they're not benefiting from it, because if you ask any of these wealthy, multi-millionaire, billionaire black people that if they could run things and have things their way, that they would do it completely different than the way that this country has set it up. It's a term, learn the rules and play to win. Black people know how to do that for the most part, right? Where we're not distracted and incentivized to turn on each other. We learn the rules, play to win. We're great at basketball, we learn the rules, play to win. Are you a sports fan? Have you seen how the style of the game has changed with people actually reading the rule books, right? The James Harden step back, people thought it was a travel for the longest, but when you get official referees saying it's not, you have to pay attention to where he picks up the ball. It's called the gather dribble, and then he has 2 steps after that. We know how to learn the rules and play to win, but why are we playing according to those rules? How do we fix the rules? Do you feel like the democracy that is the true form of democracy that this place should push would correct that? And if so, how do we get to that true form of democracy?
I agree with everything you said. You see how many people walk by and don't stop? Americans have been desensitized where they don't care enough to stop and listen, right? There's a sales aspect to everything, regardless of truth. Okay? I don't know how many people have stopped and listened, but more people should, right?
I mean,
to answer your question,
yeah.
though, and I've asked this question to a lot of African American or black or POC, whatever the preferred verbiage is, because everyone's got a different sensitivity, right? I've asked this question more times than I can count, and the answer is always not much. Obama,
same here.
At 8 years, he didn't leave much.
He didn't do much,
So, you know,
especially for the people that he was allegedly representing.
he'll never answer that question honestly. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know why? Because the truth of the matter is, this system has never been, and it will never be, for the equality, the upliftment, and the freedom and liberation of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people.
That's right.
There would be no country without the subjugation and the oppression of these people. You have to keep these people in the position that they're in order for the people at the top to win. And the fact of the matter, the people at the top are Caucasian, white, European, whatever term that fits. That's what it is.
That's the majority of the population.
So if we can understand what has been done and what is currently being done is wrong, what is the repercussion? Because if we are establishing a country on the principle of protect, serve, and justice, are any of the current Caucasians in position of power or just in the land today, are they willing to actually deal with what must be done to even achieve a level of equality and a level playing field for us to then move into a better day proceeding after that?
You use the word any, and that's black and white. So to answer your question,
No, any Caucasian.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to just be those in positions of power, because even, would you say that you're a millionaire? Are you a millionaire?
that's not your information. That's not your business.
Possibly.
Anything is possible.
I'm saying, like, currently, are you possibly a millionaire? 7 figures that you have.
Ask a different
Okay,
question.
would you say that you're amongst the elite class of whites in America?
I don't consider myself to be special or elite.
in an elite class, meaning a higher social economic status.
You never know who's on the street. For all I know, you're all millionaires.
The reason why I'm asking you that question is because whether you're, you know what I'm saying, the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, whether you're a billionaire, or whether you're a homeless white person on the street, you would never be in America without the injustices that was done. So the consequences or the attempt to establish justice falls on all parties involved, not just those that are in power. And a lot of times, there's a separation that's trying to be drawn. So when you say the question would never be answered from Obama or from anybody as to what should be done, yeah, because nobody is ever going to legitimately answer that question to say we have to pay for the things that our forefathers did in order to establish a level playing ground to be able to move forward for a better day.
Let me ask you a question. I'm assuming this is a safe and respectful conversation. Anything to be said, right?
Yeah.
History, right? White man didn't come to that time.
Say it again?
The white man is not native here, right?
He's not native here.
Overseas, right?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the amount of racism that existed then and still exists now in Europe, especially England?
Sure.
With that being said,
I want to clarify just so I understand what we mean by racism. I understand that racism exists, but racism from what point to the next? Between what two parties? Because I know that there's racism of whites to blacks in Europe, and I believe that there's racism from one set of whites to another set of whites in Europe. What were you asking me?
I've never experienced it myself personally, so I don't come firsthand, but I do have friends that are
correct
in England, and they tell me it is 10 times worse over there. With that being said, that's where it started, a portion of it.
Okay.
Additionally, let's just talk about slavery real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, never got it, never understood it, but they were black slavers that traded their own people.
What do you mean by black slavers?
They would go and collect.
No. What do you mean by black slave? Black. When you say black, what do you mean? Define black there.
That were black that took other.
Is black a nationality?
You can pick the verbiage you want me to use. I'm not going to play semantics. I will use any verbiage you want because everybody's hypersensitive to one word or the other. What would you like to be used?
My name is Taz. What's your name?
Alex.
Okay, Alex. I'm not trying to play semantics. I'm telling you that what you're speaking is it's a rhetorical thing, right? It's rhetoric. That it was blacks selling other blacks. Because hold on, just if you can hear me out, let me land my plane. If with the misinformation that's been taught to us, and people that have my complexion or around, similar to my complexion, we've been so far removed from who we are that when our history is told to us, the people who took our history, they get to tell us, oh, it was your own people that was doing it to you. And we don't believe that, especially when you look into the records. Why? Because the land of Africa is not the land of black. Africa, the people in Africa did not even give the continent the name. The people in Africa didn't even recognize it as a continent. You see what I'm saying? And they don't call themselves black over there. So when you pose the scenario or the situation and say, slavery, I never got it, never did understand it, but when we look at the history of it, it was blacks selling other blacks. No, it was
very black and white. I didn't say that. Let's just talk about slavery real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, never got it, never understood it, but they were black slavers that traded their own people. Slavers that traded their own people. Black slavers that traded their own people that were black that took other black individuals. And I don't like when you put words in.
No. What? Correct me with what you said.
What I said was their work, along with everybody else involved. That's all that I implied.
You pointed out that there were blacks selling other
message, and that's going to fail you in the big scheme of your message on a global scale.
Alex, I was trying to.
You need to hear the middle ground when people talk to you about not saying that only them and they're responsible and they're the blame.
Alex, did I ever say only?
Listen.
I'm asking you, did I ever say only? Because if I took something that you said and just marginalized it to only blacks were doing that, again, it's on tape. I never said only. I'm only harping on that point to show at damn near everybody in the world has melanin. So if history is depicted in a picture where it's two melanated people, one that has the authority and the one that's selling the other melanated person, it's not blacks selling other blacks. Because when you go to the land, somebody from Ethiopia and somebody from Nigeria are two totally different people, although they are both richly, darkly melanated people. So you wouldn't depict that history being accurate and standing on the principle of truth when you just vaguely and blanket it as blacks are selling other blacks. That's not accurate, that's not true.
This is short form conversation. This type of conversation.
All I'm saying is the distinction makes a difference.
Hours and hours and hours of round table, hours and days and years. This is not short form. You don't get my full brain spectrum in a conversation and then try to throw it back at me. That's black slavers that traded their own people. That's going to fail you at long term.
Alex, I asked you a question.
You need to learn from this conversation because most white
Are you offended with what I just said to you?
No, but I'm offended that you don't necessarily think that I don't see the black, the white, the gray, and the rainbow spectrum of everything we're talking about. This is a very in-depth, long dialogue.
And we can make it very simple by just establishing the difference.
Helping or hurting?
Kanye West is helping certain segments of society, and he's hurting other segments of society.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that I'm making a distinction because it makes a difference in the grand scheme of the point that you were making about how you don't and have never understood slavery, especially when you look at the history and you can see, as you stated, blacks selling other blacks. Not only the ink thing in history. Did you hear what I said?
I did, but I want to
that I'm establishing the distinction because there is a difference and it makes a difference.
I want to elaborate on something because you're missing what I mean by that statement. I don't mean I don't understand slavery or why it happened. What I'm saying is there's nothing in my soul, there's nothing about my humanity from the history books till today that could ever support any type of slavery of any person.
Right. So if you don't support it, and we recognize the fact of the matter is that it did happen, and so much disadvantage and disenfranchisement and so many horrible things have happened as a result of it, the people that have to answer the question as to how we get back to an even playing field to be able to move forward is Alex and your constituents.
That's right.
That's the point. So when you bring up something and I hear you, I'm saying let's establish the difference, the distinction, because remember, the only reason why we talked about this is because of the question that has to be answered. What's going to be done? So when we pose that, it's like, well, if you guys are going to point the finger or hold whites accountable, right? Because remember I said it's going to be from the elite status all the way to the bottom. It's all parties involved. And you brought up the blacks that were selling other blacks. Just correct me when I'm tripping about how we get to certain points. If we're going to hold you guys accountable, then we got to hold those accountable that sold us, correct? And we're telling you we will. But we're telling you we're not the same people as those people. And they understood it. History will tell you that. Culture will tell you that. And even their old traditions will tell you that. Not the same people. So with that, we will definitely hold themselves accountable. But again, they're not in our face right now currently. If we're going to reverse engineer this thing, then we got to deal with those that's in front of us first before we get back to where we came from.
You're going to have a lot of heavy conversations in your future, a lot of back and forth.
What, you trying to get smart? Are you trying to kick some knowledge? Nigga, fuck that, nigga. Give me your motherfucking jury.
Listening, a lot of talking, but a lot of listening. And forcing things, people getting uppity, and not saying you and I think we're doing great. This is an example of the challenges, because this is not a challenge. This is fluid. But I am very rare. I'm a rare American, I'm a rare consumer, I'm a rare white man. I also speak fluent Spanish. I'm a rarity. You're a rarity. All of you are a rarity. Okay, we need more of this.
What do you feel like makes you rare?
My empathy, my compassion, my understanding for other people's pain and suffering.
Empathy and compassion. if your ancestors were raped, robbed, murdered, pillaged, depleted of everything that they've ever even known, not just what they had, everything that they've known, in your idea, what would you want to be done to fix things?
You know, it's tough.
From a place of empathy and compassion.
It's a great question. It's tough because as a Jew, you have, you know, the Jews inside of Egypt. Have the recent Gaza situation. So,
And you know what they're doing? If you could just quickly, what are they doing for all of the things that have been done?
who's they?
The Jews. You pointed out the Jews.
What are they doing for?
For all of the things that you just mentioned and listed as to what was done to them. You said Egypt, then you moved to the Holocaust, and then you're like now dealing with this whole Hamas situation. No, I'm saying, what are they doing about it?
They're just as toxic to democracy as ours.
Okay, so what was the kind of the reason of you bringing them up?
There's a lot of similarities between Jewish history and your history.
There is no similarities, not at all, not even close.
Death?
Not even close, not even close.
You don't know the numbers then?
Wait, tell me the numbers. If I don't know them, tell them.
You can Google it.
No, but no, I'm telling you that I'm familiar with the numbers, but if you're telling me that I don't, then I'm saying, what are the numbers?
When I have conversations with statistics, I make sure I have all the statistics in front of me, so I never misspeak. Again, I'm happy to reply in email.
But you did make an affirmative statement that their atrocity is similar to ours.
There's similarities.
And then you broke it down to the numbers is what makes it similar.
The Jews are slaves in Egypt. What's the difference? Slavery.
Hold on. Again, now we're going to start to take this into a different direction. Hold on, real quick. We take the position.
No one culture owns slavery.
No, nobody's saying that. We take the position that
You're wearing the Star of David, so you should really know at least the history.
I thought you said that you were not going to make statements without the information in front of you.
What you do is going to cause you a lot of problems.
Why? Because I'm holding people accountable to the things that actually come out of their mouth?
You want to challenge people, but it's not necessary because no one is here to tell you you're wrong.
Alex, you just told me that I have the Star of David on, so I should be familiar with the history, correct? And all I'm telling you is that right before you made that statement, you said you'll respond to me in the email in terms of the numbers because you don't like making statements without the information right in front of you so that you don't misspeak. And all I'm doing is pointing out little things that you do or that you say that is a misspeech. It's not that you're being deceptive.
Coming off the street and giving you attention, you're so trying to push something that is not necessary.
I'm trying to push truth, Alex. That's what the first thing I said when you came up.
And you think I'm prepared? You've prepared. You've got all your everything organized. You guys are methodical and surgical. You know what your messaging is today.
And we thank you for that observation.
And you've been doing this for a long time. I'm a guy on the street that came to give you my ears, and you're coming at me as if I was prepared, and I'm doing a really good job to speak to you the best that I can, but I'll never misstep. And if you don't like that, you need to learn who
I said I didn't like it?
Because there's a lot of people that are never going to give you a time of day, no matter how right you are.
Alex, real quick. If you're affirming and you recognize how prepared we are, and you say something that I'm prepared to establish truth, which I told you from the jump is what I build on, why are you getting offended that I keep trying to establish truth?
I'm matching your tone.
I'm asking you, why are you getting
You're not talking gently at me. You are coming at me, and I'm happy to take it.
Now here's the thing.
I'm matching your energy.
Now here's the thing. Perception versus perspective. I understand that your perception of how I'm speaking might be aggressive or that I'm coming at you. I can tell you the contrary. It's not. If I was, I'm a naturally passionate, loud person. Just who I am. Has nothing to do with any ill feeling that I have towards you. It's just the love and the honest, genuine desire to establish truth. So that's your perception, but the perspective is what I'm interpreting.
You have to remember, please, this is very important to all of you. Trust me, I'm not going to reveal myself, but I come from the branding, marketing, PR world. You have to find a happy medium so that the message has the maximum amount of effect on as many people as possible. Because there's many people that can't listen to Stephen A. Smith talk on ESPN. They can't give that guy 2 seconds.
Why?
They don't want to be yelled at listening about sports.
Do you feel like I've been yelling at you?
I'm just using him as an example, not you.
I'm just asking. You brought it up as an example. Do you feel like that I've displayed that to compare me to Stephen A. Smith and whether or not people want to listen to me?
Message heard, so
gang member.
Don't understand different cultures, don't understand a lot of the things you guys are talking about. And you have to come at them slightly different. You have, for example, when I work in big volume, okay, I have a lot of people working with simultaneously. They can be 300 or 500 at one time. I don't expect everybody to adapt to me in my way. I work as a psychologist in that respect, where I adapt to everybody else's needs. I listen, I watch, and I make sure, because everybody needs to work together. You have a lot of work ahead of you, and you want to make sure not only is your message heard, but there's so much passion and time and energy, and you're so eloquent, and you're fluent, and you're educated, and you're knowledgeable, and you know how to talk, and you have a silver tongue, and you don't have to spin. You're truth, and you're transparent, and it comes across. But as I said, I am very rare. That's why I don't even get involved half the time. Look at politics. People don't even want to listen to the truth. We're so divided. So at the end of the day, communication and the way we deliver, especially this topic, is so sensitive, but it is vital to our future. Not only yours and mine and everyone else's, but America, because we're being divided systematically. And I don't know what the answer is, but it's not Trump, it's not Biden, it wasn't Obama, it's not DeSantis, it's not Nikki Haley. You know, I want to see someone else, younger generation. I don't care the race, I don't care the color. It's certainly not Kamala Harris, not because of her color or gender. She's not right in the head for that position.
Right.
We need better across the board. Look at all these politicians. People like George Santos get in, and all these idiots.
We were just talking about George Santos last night.
You don't get the best of the best because the best don't want the media attention. They don't want the assault. They don't want the attack. They don't want to put their family in front of all that. You think Trump, Obama, Biden, Bush, Clinton are the best, the smartest leaders we could ever have? No. They're our second, maybe third best, and they're the ones that they're getting financially pushed through dark money, campaigns, and everything else. It's long. We're never going to achieve everything and understand each other today.
Right, no.
But I would love to. But over hours.
No. We're not going to understand each other completely today.
That?
Yeah. Listen, I've literally heard
something really quick.
No, I've literally heard you. But one thing that I'm listening to you, right? You said you're rare. You said everybody doesn't have tough skin like you.
And you.
Or me, right?
And
so
everybody here.
Exactly. But if I can recognize that you have tough skin like me, and the psychology of what I'm observing is, I could talk to Alex. You literally asked me, you said, I'm assuming that this is a safe space to bring out the truth and to establish, how we feel. This is a safe space. As soon as you say that, I'm like, well, hell yeah, it's a safe space. So guess what? Alex gets to express himself the way that he feels comfortable. And hey, no judgment call up here. But watch this. Hold on, but watch this.
Safe space to communicate.
But watch this. You then have to extend that same courtesy over here. And all you're doing is pointing out to say that I'm barking at you, or that I'm coming at you, or that my approach to you, Alex with tough skin, the rare man, that's not like anybody else, that I can't talk to you this way, as if the way that I'm talking is now causing you to miss what we're establishing.
For a reason though, because I haven't moved. I'm right here and I'll take everything. But what I'm saying
so you're bringing it up to...
won't.
No, but here's the thing. How do you know that I don't adapt to other people?
I don't.
So that's my point. I am a very conscious and observant person. I know and recognize when Alex walked up, we got a few initial questions out the board, and then I can gauge you from there, right? Reading people. From there, I recognize just how rare and just how tough-skinned Alex is. And then I was expecting Alex to stand up to that and not to point out the things that you don't know I switch up, alter, and make adjustments to when I'm talking to other people. I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, you see what I'm saying? So I'm multifaceted as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk to my 8-year-old son like I will talk to Alex.
So
I wouldn't talk to my wife the way I would talk to Alex.
What's your first name?
Taz.
Taz. Are you guys all leaders? Do you all speak? I mean, you guys vote who your leadership? I'm just curious how it works.
Initially it's just been on.
He was talking, and then
right.
You gently, took the microphone. How does it all work? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, the leadership is established on time frame of developing understanding and then making the move to go out and exercise the senses and the information that we've. That's how the leadership goes. Hold on, real quick before we.
What can I do on my side to help you guys?
Just be honest.
With who?
With the dialogue, with the discussion. That's all we need, is honesty. But when I say honesty, it also takes a little bit of effort, that when it's put on the table, the same question that you pose or that you feel like you've had that nobody will answer. If we both share that, I'm expecting Alex to behave and operate differently than what he's seen everybody else that he also has critique for, the critique that I agree with. But I'm not expecting you to have that critique and then turn around and do the same thing, which is, I don't know what we can do. That's why I switched it to say, if you were in the position of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, how do you think that you would get these things done? And you would have to go back to your German, Spanish ancestry. How did they get it done?
Do you want to get into politics?
No, not at all.
Okay. I've been told I should. I don't want to either.
Yeah,
I
no.
believe it all starts with a political system of what's going on behind the scenes. There's probably people trying to do good things, and there's probably a counter effect to that. I just don't know who and what and where.
I think everything that you're saying, I understand. I'm not gonna say I agree, but I understand it. I fully grasp it. I think what you're trying to do is turn. You're familiar with hip hop, right? In the culture, you're trying to turn a whore into a housewife. And America's a whore. Sure. She will always be a whore. She will never be a housewife.
Right. She's not a housewife.
She's not a housewife. So, but that's the thing. So, how can we enter into the politics of this whore, trying to figure out a way? What can we do to make her a housewife?
Get the old white.
She is America is going to be a perpetual cocksucker. Of multiple men.
We need new generations with new thinkers. This old white man in the White House has to go.
But here's the thing, though. Do you know what is then going? Do you know what the world, or do you know what America looks like with actual equal opportunity? It looks like a lot of white inferiority and a lot of Black superiority. You see what I'm saying? Is the white American public ready for that?
I think there's millions. I don't know the numbers of people that support your message, the culture. I mean, I always talk about it, from everything that we've gotten, from food to music to fashion to the arts. You name it, the influences throughout time.
Yet look where we are.
It's because we live in a fucked up world, guys.
So what I'm asking you, Alex, is the people ready?
I'm unplugged, but a lot of people don't want to unplug. They just want to give the 1% their money. They want to order 7 packages a week on Amazon and then complain about the 1%.
Are you familiar with the author of The Matrix? The original writer of the
Was it a book first?
It was a book.
I didn't know it was a book.
And then it became a movie, right? It's a Black woman,
okay,
right, that wrote The Matrix. So it's funny that you even brought that up right after talking about our influences, right? And she literally wrote The Matrix based off of the concept of the Bible.
He went to Will Smith first, and he didn't understand it.
He didn't understand it.
Rejected it.
Right.
So Keanu picked it up.
You got something?
That.
What you got? Oh, just quick question. Are you a man of faith? You a man of God? You believe in God?
Neo. What was he originally in the book?
No, the book is the same, right? The book and the movie depicts the same thing. We're talking about her inspiration. She speaks about it, that she gets her inspiration in this concept of the dual realities and how people perceive things versus the proper perspective. She gets it from the Bible. Are you a man of God? You believe in the Bible? You believe in?
I don't want to waste people's time. Like, if you guys want this to continue?
No. This is what we're out here for. This is what we're out here for.
Sure, because you know what? I mean, this is a safe place. You guys can be honest.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Are you a man of God? You believe in God?
I believe in God.
Do you believe in the Bible?
I believe in aspects of the Bible. I believe in aspects of the Torah, aspects of the Quran.
Okay. So we're gonna, because that's our foundation. That's our perspective, where we come from, right? Hey, bro. He was looking. I was gonna say, get him a flower. That's our foundation. That's what we build on. That's where we approach things objectively, meaning it's not according to our personal feelings. It's according to what the Torah says, principally. Then moving on to the Tanakh and the prophets, right? And then moving on, we are messianic. We do believe in the writings of who the world calls Jesus Christ. So this is our foundation that we build on, and that's what we, again, establish as the fact of the matter, and that's where we go from there. That's how we would get in the concept and topic of justice. Because when you bring up the Jews being persecuted in Egypt, sure, but we don't take the position that the people in Israel now, the people that walk around with the yarmulkes, the long curls, or the top hats and the black suits, are the people that was persecuted in Egypt. No, because they can't blend into Egypt like Moses did.
And the Jews have a lot of infighting.
Everybody has a lot of infighting. See what I'm saying? But my point is that we don't believe that those are the people. So when you bring up the generations and the laundry list of Jewish persecution, when you bring up Egypt and then the Holocaust, we're saying those things don't even match. Because Egypt happened to one people and the Holocaust happened to another people.
What?
The people over in the land, again.
Do you think the people that don't like Jews care what kind of Jew you are? No, you're a Jew, boom. They don't care what type of Jew you are.
we don't believe that they're Jews at all.
That's you, but that's not how it worked back then. That's not what happened in World War II. That's not what happened in Egypt. A Jew was a Jew. It didn't matter what type of Jew you were.
Hold on. Jews,
you realize that, though, right?
Jews did not exist during the time of Egypt. So, you have to understand, the 12 sons went into, just as the story goes. I don't know, like you said, you adhere to certain things, but if we're going to talk about it, let's just establish the facts of the matter. As the story goes,
the future, not the past.
No, we have to establish the facts of the past in order to be able to move properly towards the future.
That's right. Bring it out,
and this is why I'm telling you, Alex, I'm expecting you to be different than the people that me and you are criticizing, because they say the same thing to us. Why are we so focused about the past? Let's just move on. But how can we move on when we have to establish the means of justice? Crack cocaine was flooded into the streets of Black and Hispanic communities. Rape, abortion clinics, so much propaganda. How do we ignore that just to try to move on to the future? No, we have to establish.
I'm just talking about whether Jews exist in Egypt or not is not relevant right now in the component of the priority of this conversation. No one's talking about crack in America in the past. You take some liberties sometimes.
You said nobody's talking about that?
So people work with you.
No, I'm asking. You said nobody's talking about crack in America in the past?
I'm not saying ignore the crack past or the past in the last 50 years. I'm just saying right now we don't have to go back to Egypt.
Why not?
Because it's not the priority for this conversation.
And that's where I think we're missing. We finally found a place where we're missing each other, because it's the entire end-all be-all of the conversation. Because if we can realize
that's a whole nother conversation that's long-winded.
If you want to try to force it to be that, then yes. But I'm telling you, it doesn't have to. And the details matter, but I'll explain it. If we can understand who was in Egypt, then we'll understand who they are today. If we understand who they are today, and because this is our foundation, then we understand something called the fulfillment of prophecy. And if we understand the fulfillment of prophecy, justice starts to become very vivid and very, very clear.
So you're talking in a religious context.
I wouldn't. You would call it religious. Hold on. You would call it religious because you probably put yourself on the outside looking into it. The word religion just simply means your practice. So we adhere to the practices of the Torah because we believe that we actually were the people that were in Egypt, that was delivered, being led by Moses, led through the wilderness, and then into the promised land. And then from there, from wickedness and disobedience, according to the instructions or the religion and practice of God, he punishes them. So when we say prophecy, we already understand the punishments have come to pass. The punishments have been fulfilled. Nobody can debate that. That's fact of the matter.
So what do you want to do about it right now?
Hold on. So if we understand that the curses and the punishments was happening, then that means the people in today's time who pertain to the prophecy have to position themselves to receive the reward. So that's how it all ties in today. And I did it in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it in 2 minutes because I don't think it's fair.
I didn't know. I'm not expecting you to do it in 2 minutes. I only demonstrated that it could be done in 2 minutes because you tried to say it was a totally different conversation. I'm not missing much.
I'm not here to put you in place. All I'm saying is that is not a 2-minute conversation.
No. Alex, I'm not telling you.
You're losing my interest very quick, Taz. So
Alex,
tell me how we want to fix this.
I never said that this is a 2-minute conversation. I just demonstrated that when you said it's a totally different conversation, I said it's not. And I just walked you from Egypt to today pertaining to the prophecies and how the future looks.
Great, you took us rapid. I don't do it rapidly. What are we going to do here about the problems and everything we're talking about?
We have to establish the truth.
Get the message out.
Give me Mark 8:32. Quick. What you got?
That's right.
You have something in Proverbs?
29 and 2.
Bring it out.
You understand that scripture does not work in this country.
Let's see.
You understand the conservative message is not yours, but in general, it's false.
The conservative message, I agree, is false.
The Jewish message is false. Like, look at Trump and look at Biden. Neither one of them.
I agree with all of that. I'm saying that's not our position.
Preaching to people, you're going to lose their interest.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to be preached to right now. I don't want.
You asked me a question.
Because no one's going to stand there and do this with you.
Why not, Alex?
Because they've shown you they're ignoring it.
Alex, do you know it? Why? At this point, you're being presumptuous. Hold on. At this point, you're being.
I want to talk about politics. I want to talk.
Alex, you keep making false statements about people and things that you don't know. You just tried to tell me that I don't talk to people in a different manner, and I asked you, what do you know about me? And you said you don't. So when you say people ignore you, how do you know what type of view or ship that we get? It's crazy that Alex gets to come up here and keep lying, and then when I'm saying, no, Alex, that's not the truth, then it's, I don't want to be preached to. No, you didn't want to have the conversation at all because you're just like the people that you criticize. You don't have a goddamn answer. Right. What are you talking about? Proverbs 29:2. Because if you understood this is not preaching, this is establishing the fact of the matter. So when I read this, I'll ask you, do you feel like this principle or this proverb is accurate? Bring it out.
The book of Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
When righteous people have the authority, because he just says that evil is winning right now.
That's right.
So when the righteous people in authority, the people rejoice. Are people rejoicing? Let's not answer that yet. Let's finish the verse. Go ahead.
But when the wicked beareth rule.
But when wicked people have rule, Alex already agreed with that because he says the yang is superseding the yin. Evil is prevailing over good right now. Who do you feel like is winning right now? The yin or the yang, right? The good or the evil?
The evil.
The evil is winning. So when the wicked bear rule, what happens?
The people mourn.
So according to Alex and everything that he just listed and everything that he just named and all the problems that he just pointed out that makes the world a problem fits exactly what we just read in Proverbs the 29th chapter.
That's right.
But he doesn't want to be preached to. Alex, you're just like everyone else. There's nothing special about you. There is nothing unique about you. Your skin is softer than drugstore cotton.
Right.
Your pussy, stone cold hoe, just like your third generation mother America. And all of your ancestors, because guess what? We didn't even get a chance to even talk about. We didn't even get a chance to talk about the Spaniard descendancy that he comes from. But it's crazy when we point that out that he actually agreed with this. Evil is winning. Evil is prevailing in the world today. And when evil people are ruling, the world mourns. And nobody can deny that the world and the entire what they call planet Earth is in total and perpetual mourning. This is why the opioid epidemic is so big, because people are trying to find an escape of reality. Because when you just look at the world around you every day, it's poor. It is in a sick, twisted condition.
Right.
But he doesn't want to be preached to. But he says, oh, I adhere to some of the things according to the Torah. Right, so if you adhere to it, then you have to understand something called prophecy. And if you understand something called prophecy, it's the prophecy says blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians, all right, are the children of the Most High God, the children of Israel. And according to the fulfillment of this prophecy, God says he's going to deliver the black, Hispanic, and Native Indians from this God-forsaken place called America, known in the Bible as Babylon.
For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put that work in. Hamashiach give us that order, prepare slaughter. For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put this work in. Hamashiach give us that order.